Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Brad from Being Chill. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about dual screen phones and whether or not I think they're worth it right now and what I think is going to happen with them in the future. For starters, the most popular dual screen phones on the market today that you've probably heard of are the Microsoft Surface Duo and the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Now, the Galaxy Fold has been out for a little while, but the Surface Duo has yet to come out. We're just now seeing hardware hands-on, but no software side of this one yet. But a lot of people are excited for this one, and this is definitely one of the big players in the market. The Galaxy Fold was decently received, but it has a lot of drawbacks, and coupled with the price being too expensive on these phones right now, I just think we're not going to see a lot of adoption anytime soon. Other phones that have entered the market recently, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, which is a vertical folding phone. Motorola Razr Remake is another vertical folding phone. And then you've got some other lesser known ones like the LG G8X Think dual screen phone, the ATE Axum M, Royale FlexPi, and the Huawei Mate X. All of these phones are on the market today, and you can do some research and look into those and see kind of what the differences are there. But in my opinion, none of them are really quite there. Even the Microsoft Surface Duo, which is my personal favorite, even though it's not out yet, I still think it's still too soon to buy something like that. And I want to talk a little bit about why I'm waiting. So for starters, I still have an iPhone X. I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon unless the battery just gives out. It's at 87% battery health now. It's about 2 years old, so it's still kicking. It is dying faster, so maybe in a year I might see myself looking for an upgrade. But I'm really holding out for Apple to adopt this dual screen phone technology, but I think it's a long way away for them to do anything with this. We probably won't see any real updates from iPhone to their iPhone model for probably 3 years minimum, but I'd say probably closer to 5. And the reason I say that is because Apple's usually slow to kind of revolutionize what they have. They just kind of like to make small increments. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type things, and re-release phones with just small spec boosts. And it is kind of disappointing, but at the same time, that is what makes Apple so popular, is that people can buy something, they know it's going to work for a long time, it's not going to change, they're not going to forget how to use it, it's simple and easy to use. And so if they were to make revolutionary changes every year like other phone companies are doing, then they would lose some of that reliability and simplicity that people have come to rely on. One reason why I think dual screen phones are not ready today is that, the display technology is really not there yet. For starters, the Surface Duo is now releasing, it's two separate screens. It is a folding phone, but it's two separate screens. And, that leaves you with a hinge in the center, and it's not as seamless of an experience. Like, imagine if you had an iPad, and in the middle of your iPad was a black bar, and it separated your screens. That's basically what this hinge is doing. You can't enjoy it when it's two separate screens. Even if the software combines them together, you're still going to see that gap in between. And, a lot of the software, especially on the Android side of the house, is not going to support these dual screen phones right away. And, it's probably going to be a really long time before a lot of this software starts to catch up, because the market share is just too small right now for developers to care about optimizing their products for dual screen phones. So you're really relying on the makers of these phones to release software that's optimized for these dual screens. Like Samsung has their own version of Android that they release with their phones. So, you're probably going to see the best type of experience on there, whereas Microsoft is just launching with Android. So they're relying on Google to develop the tools to use these dual screen phones as seamlessly as possible. And while the technology does exist and the software does exist, it's still in a very early stage, and a lot of the multitasking is going to be limited, and it's just really not going to be an enjoyable experience. And it's definitely not enjoyable enough to justify the high price tags of these phones. A lot of these phones are releasing around the $1,500 to $2,000 price range, and that's a huge investment. I mean, just right off the bat, phones these days, in my opinion, are way too expensive. Like, even the iPhones and, almost all flagship phones are now releasing at a high price point, with a few notable exceptions on the Android side of the house. But, most people, I'd say a large part of the market share is probably LG, Samsung, and iPhone. Very, very few people, I would say, are probably on other phone manufacturers. However, we could see Microsoft steal some of this market share, but we won't know until the phone officially comes out. So I'll tell you one reason why I'm excited about getting a dual screen phone in the future is because, a lot of people have iPads and they have a phone, but you can't put your iPad in your pocket, and sometimes your iPhone is too small, sometimes your iPad is too big. So that's why we have these devices now, because they serve different purposes. But in the future, if you could fold your iPad in half, make it into the size of an iPhone and put it in your pocket and take it wherever you go, and then you pull it out and you use it as a phone, fold it up, but whenever you want to use your iPad, you could just unfold it anywhere and use it seamlessly as a tablet. That to me is the most exciting part, is about having that type of portability on a device that small and that big at the same time. There's things you want to do, like download Netflix movies and TV shows and watch them when you're going places, but watching it on your phone is not really that enjoyable as watching it on a tablet. So being able to do that anywhere, to me, is the most exciting part. Another exciting part is, we really haven't seen the phone industry be revolutionized very much since the original release of the iPhone. Not much has changed. So, I'm excited to see any new change, because it's been far too long since we've gotten anything revolutionary, really. It's just because they were just repeating the pattern that works. Like, if they're going to keep selling millions of iPhones, even though nothing changed besides small spec boost, they're going to keep making them until people no longer want to buy them. The rising cost of these phones is not really justified with the advancements that's being made. I would really like to see Apple dive headfirst into this and once again be the first to do something revolutionary, like releasing a foldable, seamless screen phone that doesn't make any sacrifices from what we have today. So most phones that are foldable today, you're losing either a front or a back facing camera, or you're losing waterproofing. You're going to have a bump in the middle of your screen if it's the Samsung phones, or you're going to have a gap in between it if it's the Surface Duo. The Surface Duo doesn't have a small screen that you can use without having to open the phone up, which a lot of people are going to see as a downside. Whereas the Galaxy Fold does have a small screen on the front, but it looks terrible and the bezels are huge, and it's just probably not a great experience to use something like that. That phone is also bulky. The Microsoft phone is thin, but like I said, it makes a lot of sacrifices. No rear-facing camera, just one camera, glass back, nothing on the outside of the phone. You're losing your waterproofing, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on. These phones have a long way to go. I'd say it's probably going to be about 3 to 5 years before we see anything hit the market that's really going to convert a lot of people over to folding phones. And, there's still a large portion of people that, probably will never want folding phones. But, anybody that was alive in the late 2000s knows that, foldable phones, sliding phones, all that was the latest craze, Blackberries, things like that. And, people loved them. So, we might see some nostalgia factor in when these new phones come out, and people might want to buy them just for that nostalgia factor and to, just have something different. So, that's my opinion on dual screen phones. Hope you guys enjoy. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you subscribe, I appreciate it a lot. I will make more content. So that's all for today. Thanks, guys. Peace.